Big shout out to you for making it through the hectic holiday season. This new year, get clean, quality pregnancy nutrient support off your to-do list, including Ritual's best-selling Essential Prenatal Multivitamin, designed with 12 traceable key ingredients to support a healthy pregnancy. With big changes coming up, take the small steps now and start today with 30% off a 3-month supply at ritual.com/podcast. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Hey there. Ritual here to give a big shout out to you for making it through the hectic holiday season. The magic of those family moments, that was you. And now there's new milestones to prep for in 2025. This new year, check clean, quality pregnancy nutrient support off your to-do list with Ritual. We've done the research to create science-backed pregnancy support like our prenatal multivitamin, natal choline, and fertility support, all designed to be taken alongside each other. But don't just take our word for it. They're also third-party tested for microbes and heavy metals and Clean Label Project certified. So whether you're trying, thinking about trying, or already there, we don't have to tell you that prioritizing yourself can be the hardest part. That's why we're helping you get started today with 30% off a 3-month supply for a limited time at ritual.com/podcast. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Do you want more success, more growth, more results? Then it's time for the Boundless Success Accelerator from the Modern Observer Group. This isn't your average coaching program. It's where top performers come to dominate. Weekly group sessions, on-demand coaching, a community that's got your back, and a power-packed library of tools to supercharge your business and career. No more excuses, no more waiting. Get in, level up, and start building the life you've been dreaming about. Visit us at modernobserver.com/boundlesssuccess to join today. Let's get you to the next level.
Simple questions for 100 people. Welcome to the experiment. I'm Bill Correl, and this is my investigation. I'm researching to gather data from 100 beautiful human beings for the sole purpose to see what actually happens across the interviews. The questions are all fixed, and the interviews will remain consistent, with the variable being the actual participants themselves and their answers. So, Kevin, it's as if I'm inviting you to come sit on my porch and share your thoughts so I can learn about people. I'm looking forward to what we're going to learn at the end, if anything, but right now, let's get into this. What is your full name?
My full name is Kevin Anthony Knight.
Kevin Anthony Knight.
Yeah.
That's a very interesting thing. Can you tell us a little bit about each one of those? Where did the Knight come from?
The Knight, actually doing Ancestry currently, found out that it is a family name of mine. But after over 30 years in entertainment, the name kind of stuck about 20 years ago. No, 30 years ago. Yeah. So at the very beginning, the Anthony is I have the same middle name as my father before me. And Kevin actually is a funny one, because for over 24 hours, all I was known as was it. Because when you're expecting a child, everyone's asking, what is it?
Yes.
What is it? So I was it. I was almost a Christopher. And believe it or not, I actually have the baby book that my parents chose my name from. It's Irish, which is funny. Every time I see or meet an African American whose name is Kevin, and I'm like, another fellow Irishman.
There you go. Absolutely. You got to play that for all it's worth, right?
Right.
So, Kevin, what is your favorite nickname that most people don't know?
It's almost like every part of me has a story. My favorite nickname of the many is Dino. Um, I was nicknamed after the one and the only Dean Martin. Not sure if it was, my charisma, my showmanship, the penchant for drinking or chasing skirt. But when you're thought of, any time you're thought of in the same vein as one of the greatest icons of entertainment and TV and music, you just don't argue about it.
Works for me. Works for
But yeah,
me.
Dino.
One of probably the most misunderstood personalities ever. You know, he just had so much to contribute, and he had a career before the Rat Pack with Jerry Lewis that was second.
Right.
Yeah,
And he was a boxer before that.
yeah,
Um, it's funny that so I got the name because of a friend of mine was heavily influenced by Frank Sinatra, and we were at the same watering hole week after week after week, singing. And so he ended up adopting the name Frank, and our friend Wayne adopted the name Joey the Jew, which is hilarious to bring up in mixed company.
yeah.
Especially when you say, but his real name's Wayne, and they're like, I don't understand the Joey part. After Joey Bishop,
Right.
we had a friend that loved to act and cheat on his girlfriends, so he instantaneously became Peter Lawford. Yeah, so we had a pretty well-rounded group.
It sounds like it, and it sounds like there may have been some adult beverages involved.
Many, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, many.
So, how was it that you got to be Dino?
It was probably the hair. It was probably just like I said, that charisma of being able to slide up to people that I don't even know. I mean, for instance, I have not been out socially in over 5 years. The pandemic, growing older, etc., the loss of my father. And I was at the bar and there were two gentlemen. One was like 6'3", the other one was about 5'8", and there was a woman behind them of all of about 5'4", 5'5", and I said, "What are you doing?" And she said, "I'm waiting for a drink." I said, "I know the secret," and she goes, "What secret is that?" I said, "I know the secret that men are stupid," and she giggled. And I said, "You do realize that all you have to do is tap both of those men on their shoulders, and as soon as they turn, there you are at the bar." And she was like, "No, it's not that simple." "It is that simple. Go ahead." And so she tapped them. They turned sideways. She walked forward. I yelled to the bartender. She got her drink and winked as she walked away. It's just, when you're open and friendly and carefree, people kind of take notice. I end up being everybody's friend, everybody's drinking pal. But like you alluded to, just like Dean Martin, I mean, him being a renowned alcoholic was almost all an act. Most of the time when he was on stage, he was drinking apple juice.
Yep.
But in the 20s, 30s, and 40s, there was something hilarious about somebody being drunk in public.
Yes, and there was another famous guy, Jackie Gleason. When he took a swig from his coffee cup and said, "How sweet it is,"
Yep.
it was not apple juice when he was drinking it.
Ah, I did not know that.
Yeah. Anyhow, so there you are. Let's go back, Sherman, in the Wayback Machine here. And when did you first notice what color hair you had?
I imagine it was at the same time that human children become first self-aware. Probably 2.5, 3 years old. Um, it's really caught up to me now in retrospect how much I look like my father
Yeah.
and how much we have the same hair. I mean, I'm 3 months away from turning 50, and And all my friends, even the ones with full heads of hair, they're like, "Your hair is gorgeous." Yes, yes, it is. And I get it from the old man. I mean, full thick head of hair. Um, yeah, so it and with tons of natural curl in it, and yeah, so it had to have been in those early toddler years.
Yeah. I had a cousin who's a year older than me, and she went into cosmetology. One year, when she was staying the summer at our house, she cut my hair, and she said, "Billy, your hair is wasted on you. This hair belongs on a woman."
I've gotten that when I first started my career, I had long hair down to the middle of my back. And yeah, women were definitely envious of the hair. And which is funny because when I cut it off, they're like, "Do you want to donate it?" And I'm like, what a great cause that would be." And I was like, No, I don't want anybody walking around with my gorgeous hair." I got a buddy of mine, Eugene Tellier, who every single year for St. Baldrick's, he shaves his head every year.
Yeah.
I I can't imagine. I mean, I made the mistake already once of not thinking before I speak, and I made the comment, if I was losing my hair, I don't think I could ever leave the house again. And one of one of my buddies called me up and he goes, "Hey, insert your favorite expletive there."
Big shout out to you for making it through the hectic holiday season. This new year, get clean, quality, pregnancy nutrient support off your to-do list, including Ritual's best-selling Essential Prenatal Multivitamin, designed with 12 traceable key ingredients to support a healthy pregnancy. With big changes coming up, take the small steps now and start today with 30% off a 3-month supply at ritual.com/podcast. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
You do realize that every single one of your friends is bald or has male pattern baldness, right? And I had to think about it for a second. I was like, "Yeah, every single one of you, huh? Ooh, yeah. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry about that."
Would you believe I didn't think?
Oh yeah, yeah. He definitely knows me well, and actually, that gentleman was nicknamed Bing Crosby. So Bing told me that one.
Excellent. So, Kevin, what's your favorite thing to do to intentionally waste time?
That's a that's a tricky pitfall question, because suffering from, I guess it would be late onset ADHD. I'm always moving. My brain is constantly thinking.
Hmm.
Um, that is why when most people are like, "I would love to spend the rest of my life in a cabin in the middle of the woods," I can't think of any finer place to be than Times Square, Manhattan, New York City. Because the hustle, the bustle, the lights, the sounds, the smells, the city moves at the same relative speed as my brain is going.
Yeah.
So it's almost like they sync up and I can actually think straight. Um, but when I do have downtime where I'm like, okay, I'm stuck here, I try and use that time creatively. And I will use it to call or video chat with friends, keep those connections tight. Um, now that I'm in the, I would, God, I hope this is the last chapter of my life. I really want to make sure that people know how much I appreciate them, how much I love them, how much I've respected something that they've done, and keeping that healthy dialogue open with people that mean something to you. When I go, I don't want there to be anything left unsaid.
Yep.
So I try and use that time wisely. Um, and it's come in handy in the past almost 2 years now, since my father's passing, uh, because the grief is just killer. So to have that friendly voice on the other end, and knowing without getting into the topic that your friends or family support you, yeah, you can't ask for more than that. You really can't.
That's good work. It really is.
Yeah. It's good soul work.
Agreed. And whatever you can do to make your community tighter and more filled with love, there's nothing better for you to spend your time doing.
Mhm.
So, what would you say is your favorite movie to watch alone?
There's actually two. Previously, and that this was not a question that I expected to have difficulty with, but I didn't realize that I'm not as much in love with cinema as I am with music.
Right?
So originally, it's an odd choice, but it was Star Trek Six: The Undiscovered Country. It was political. It was a little bit of a mystery thriller. um, it was a send off in some respects. It was a movie that had undertones of equality, inclusiveness, um, getting over oneself, letting go of the past. Um, so it's definitely a guilty little pleasure. And it's the weirdest choice. I mean, I'm a large Star Trek fan, um, but for the movie to ring in all those different categories, really hits me. And then I would have to say, in the last year and a half, it's actually become Roger Waters' The Wall, and also because of trying to come to grips with my seasonal affective disorder, depression, the ADHD, the grief of my father's passing. I started dabbling in THC edibles. And growing up, oh, no, 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 no. I was straight lace guy, didn't touch alcohol till I hit college. So when I found this and it did what it does and opened my mind, it allowed me to really, really focus and find out where a lot of my hidden thoughts and things from my past, why those things were the way they were. And in Roger Waters' The Wall, it's him going back and realizing his story stems from his father's, of not really knowing his father because his father went to war, and coming to grips with the grief of that,
Yeah.
and generations of the Waters men not being there for their families because of the time, the generational time, whether it was World War I or World War II or Vietnam, and it being interlaced with the music and the concert footage of them absolutely building the wall on that stage. There are just a lot of bells ring for me as far as wanting to build walls around me and society, and the other side of wanting to break down those walls.
Yeah.
You know, for
Very
for
powerful.
the because it's like I currently live by a mantra of sword or shield. You can cower and hold that shield over yourself to protect yourself, but you're not going to move forward.
Right.
Or you can pick up that heavy sword and make your way forward.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, it's amazing the symbolism that you can find when it's not something that's just hand fed to you.
Yeah.
So
And I don't know if he'll do another live performance of it, but my wife and my daughter and son-in-law went to see a live performance of The Wall in Tampa in 2010. He was fantastic. I had seen him at the Ford Theater, across from the Seminole Casino, and that one was Dark Side.
Okay.
So, but the wall was really powerful, and it's like when the wall comes down and the place goes black, and all you hear is, "Mother, did it have to be so high?"
Right.
Yeah, it's really.
Yeah.
I get goosebumps thinking about it.
Yeah, when you can sit there and listen to that, to music in general, and internalize it and think about how it mirrors your own struggles or your own trauma, or love and happiness and experience. That's why music is the soundtrack to our lives.
Yeah.
And that's, I can't believe that there's actually people out there that don't love music. Like, some people just don't listen to music.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah, that does beg the question of what's up with that, right?
Yes.
So this is a good place for me to ask my favorite question to ask of somebody like yourself. If you were to have an action figure made of you, what superpower would it have, and what colors would its uniform be?
Wow. I would honestly say the superpower would have to be the ability to reverse time, for all the good that I feel that it could do.
Yep.
Also because I'm so regretful of so many things in my life.
Hmm.
But there's no doubt that my uniform would have to be black, and fire engine red. Because it's not like Corvette red. It's a little bit darker than.
Yep.
Yeah. Um, the whole acts of service. I mean, that's one of man's biggest faults, is that we're the cavemen, we're the fixers, we're the doers. If we can't solve our family or our spouses or our kids' problems, then what use are you? Versus the greatest gift that you can give another human being is the act of use, to be of use.
Yep. Yep.
But you
Service.
have to be you have to be open and willing
Yeah.
to do it.
Service is a distinction that not many people have.
No. And any good you can spread in the world is good. Like, I have no problems siding up next to an elderly woman in the grocery store and just starting to talk to them.
Yeah.
And when you can make somebody smile and laugh, no greater feeling. But inside me, and this is the fight that I fight, is the dichotomy of not wanting anything to do with people, but yet loving people and making people happy. And you know ma- who's that? I have no clue who that was, but I made him smile.
It's a good game to play, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, it really is.
That's a game where everybody wins.
Absolutely.
Very nice. And what did you want to grow up to be when you were 5 years old?
A farmer, of all things. Because just like everybody thinks that being a marine biologist means you get to play with dolphins all day, I thought that meant that I get to just pet the animals all day.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And then fast forward to the careers that I've had, and knowing that I have an extreme aversion to anything being on my hands. Like, I'll work on the car, but as soon as I stop to, like, wipe my brow or take a drink and I see my hands, oh, no, 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 oh, no, 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 no. I cannot have dirt under my fingernails, or dirty hands or oil. It's one of my biggest fears to walk into a bathroom and see that they only have the air dryers. Because if
And
there's water still on my hands, oh no, oh no. And I really didn't pick that up until like the past 10 years. And it's probably been with me my entire life. But it's one of those things, if you can't laugh at yourself, like, Kevin, how strange are you? It's water.
did you ever see that movie As Good as It Gets?
Yes. Yes.
There's nothing strange about people.
No.
We
No,
all
we're all strange.
we all have our quirks, don't we?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So
If I get up in the middle of the night to use the restroom, I will still comb my hair. That was probably more telling than anything else, I know, but hey, I want to look good in my dreams. I never know who's gonna pop up. You know, if the house is burning down and I got to run out there. At least my hair's done.
exactly. Were you a Boy Scout?
No, I
Well,
I wanted to be because the area in Windsor Locks where I live, um, when my parents bought in 1978, there were no kids in this area whatsoever.
wow.
So I grew up pretty much alone. Normal Gen X latchkey kid playing out in the dirt with the Hot Wheels by himself. Um, and oddly enough, I have a fascination with talking cars. So every single one of my Matchbox cars knew how to talk. I don't know why. Um, but yeah, so I had to learn how to be my own best friend uh, back in the day. And now it's totally different in this area. Yeah.
Completely grown up, right?
Yeah. I'm like, wow, there's a community here. That's nice.
Yeah.
I didn't
Well,
have that luxury.
obviously you're a guy that's done some stuff. What's your greatest accomplishment?
Huh. My greatest accomplishment was portraying the dual role of Dr. Henry Jekyll and Edward Hyde in Frank Wildhorn's Broadway musical Jekyll and Hyde.
Wow.
Yeah. Me on stage for 2 hours and 45 minutes. And it was my brass ring. I learned of the show in like 91, and I am now an acquaintance of Frank Wildhorn's, the arranger, Mr. Kim Scharnberg, who's also a Connecticut resident. Um, and my brother, one of my best friends, Rob Evan, who played the role on Broadway, and was the singer for the Trans Siberian Orchestra. He worked with Jim Steinman, who famously wrote all of Meatloaf's material,
Yes.
and Pandora Box, and Bonnie Tyler, and the list goes on. Um, but
And a
the
Canadian
music, go ahead.
and a famous Canadian singer.
Which one? Oh, Celine Dion. Yes. Yes. Celine and REO Speedwagon. Um, and I think Yes did one of his songs too. And I just heard a Bonnie Tyler remake of Total Eclipse of the Sun that they're using for laundry detergent, I think it is.
Yeah.
Now I feel old. Now I feel old. Um, but yeah, Jekyll and Hyde was musically everything to me. And to be able to fill those shoes, um, because I had to decide back in 2011 when I auditioned for NBC. They were doing a brand new TV show and asked me to come out to Philadelphia to audition. And I had to draw a line in the sand, um, because I was 35 at the time. I had just lost my mother the year prior and realized, okay, I can't wait for lightning to strike twice in the same spot.
Yeah.
If I don't get this, I need to become a working, normal person with, you know, these gorgeous looks and all this charisma and all this talent. And I need to shove it all down and get to work. And a couple of years later, I went to a performance and saw that somebody was doing a performance. They were doing putting a cast together for Stephen Sondheim's "A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Forum," of which I saw on Broadway with Nathan Lane. And I had always told people there were two shows for me. If I did Forum, I'll do Jekyll. But if I do Jekyll, that's it. I'm done. Because you can't get better than that for me.
Yeah.
And luckily, that's the way that it happened. And in 2018, I stepped off the stage for the last time.
Wow.
Yeah.
So we're going to take a minute.
Okay. Uh oh.
Jekyll really was it for you.
Yeah.
So what?
To the extent that in years, many years, I had auditioned and I had some music directors going, "You need to even out the roles because your Henry Jekyll just doesn't get to where Hyde is." I'm like, "Well, that's because Edward Hyde is the real star of the show."
100%.
And yeah, I go full on demonic.
That's what pure crazy is all about, right?
Oh, it was so gratifying, and watching people on the side of the stage being embodied by Edward Hyde and just staring a hole into these people just because I had to look somewhere and you could see them just like, oh my God. It really was like I totally understand like Heath Ledger and getting lost in that role.
Yes.
Yeah.
Did you ever see I think it was Playhouse 90 performance that Jack Palance did back in the
No.
late 50s, early 60s? And the way he transformed his face, no makeup. He did everything with the muscles in his face, and he just really became a completely different person. Some pretty scary stuff, really,
Yeah.
but there's a lot of meat in that role, especially because they are two completely opposite personalities.
Right. Right. And the most difficult, yet also the most gratifying, once again, was towards the end, almost at the very end of the show. There's a song called "Confrontation," and it's literally a confrontation between Jekyll and Hyde, where the actor has to perform both roles right. I mean, succession, and it's also a vocal. It's almost like angry yodeling because you have to be able to snap that quick and change that physical being and punched and do things that are not meant to be pure vocal stance and positioning and physicality. Yeah, I miss him.
It's a wonderful, wonderful story, Kevin. I love it.
Yeah.
So, who's your favorite person to listen to?
Mm, the one and only Miss Amy Winehouse.
We miss her, don't we?
Yeah. There's There's something about just even seeing a photo of her that just brings me down to my bare essentials and I feel so bad for what happened to her and how much of a light she had in the early days of her career.
Yes.
You know, so many people, want to talk about whether it's Michael Jackson or this guy behind me, Prince. Um, but Amy played a lot of instruments. It's an absolute travesty that she was taken in the 27 Club
Yeah.
because she was a pure talent and she would have been totally satisfied playing clubs for the rest of her life. And when you are that insanely talented and unique,
Yeah.
giving yourself, and she really didn't have the choice of whether or not to give or take, but her fans and the society just took her and she didn't know how to deal with that. She still had small mind girl problems, you
Yeah.
know, like the little girl that at 18 jumps on a Greyhound bus for LA,
Yeah.
the Sunset Strip. Um, but there's just something in her voice that it always seems like she's speaking to me.
Yeah.
It's almost like also tortured souls kind of find one another. Yeah,
Well, yeah, she kind of wears that on her sleeve. There's no question in anything that she does.
right. And for
Yep.
being so small in stature, I mean, how attractive was the amount of attitude and respect that she demanded? There was so little mask, when
Yep.
so many of us, especially our entertainers, wear a mask to get through their days, of what they're expected to be, of what their fans demand from them. And for her to not put on that mask,
Yeah.
yeah, it's tragic. But yeah, that her music, good God, yeah.
I don't know anybody that didn't like her. I mean, she was on stage with almost every famous person you can ever think of. But so that brings us to this question. Kevin, please complete this sentence. When I grow up, I'd like to.
Live forever. um, I, I guess it would just be look like I'm 30 for the rest of my life because this whole growing up thing, and I'm not sure if growing up is the same as growing old because I don't feel old when I'm like around 30-year-olds. I'm like, all right, let's see which one of y'all can hang till 3 o'clock in the morning. You know, um, I don't ever want to grow up. I think that's one of the unique things about my generation is, the whole raising ourselves thing. And we were 30 when we were 13. And now that we're 50, we're still 30. I
Mhm.
mean, I just got together with about a dozen and a half members of the class of 93 that I graduated with. And everybody still has that look of life and fun in their faces
Yeah.
when you look at, and life has not been great for any of us for the past 12 years. I mean, yeah, life is absolutely what you make it. Nobody's going to be able to do anything for you
Yeah.
unless you're willing to do it for yourself first. No faith, no handouts, no friends. You always have to make yourself the number one priority. Um, as a side note, and that's what I love uh, most about scaring the people that come to the door asking me to join them on their mission of faith. And I'm like, don't need them. I believe in one man, me. So many people forget that you always have to be your number one priority, because if you're not, then you can't do what you need to do for your loved ones.
Right.
But yeah, I just don't want. I don't want to grow old. Yeah, I'll never admit it, anyways. I mean, denial is a fantastic place to live, but as long as you can smile and see the joy in life, I think it's about enjoying the ride. Um, but now, as I'm looking down the barrel at 50, I'm starting to really wonder and think about legacy, because I've never been married. I don't have any kids that I know about. Um, so I'm really concerned about what I'm leaving behind with everything that I've been through. Like, for the past 6 months, I've been begging my friends. I'm like, will one of you please kill me? The way my father died in 2023 as a result of cancer. I mean, a week before he passed, I didn't know he was actually that sick. Uh, and I laid down next to him, and I said, "Did you ever think that this would be the way that they take out the one-armed bandit?" My father only had one arm from a motorcycle accident, and no, boy, I never thought that. No, and I was like, "Listen, if there's not going to be a statue of me somewhere, if in 20 years people aren't going to be singing a song that I wrote, then guess what? I've seen the trailer. I don't need to see the movie. I don't need to see if there's an end credit scene."
Yeah.
And everyone's like, "That's wow, that's a real realistic way of thinking about your mortality." I'm like, "Yeah, I've done so much in this life.
Mm,
So much. It's amazing to me how much I've done. And I've had the best time of my life doing it.
mm.
But if that's the way that life's gonna end for me, I mean, I practically have no family left, so my friends are my family. I'm good.
Well, I think what you did is you actually kind of slid into our next question, you know?
I did.
Yeah. What's the most important thing in life to you right now? Do you have anything else to add? That's a pretty clear picture.
You know, I really don't think I could add anything
Right.
that, like, we haven't heard said to us a million and one times before. All you need is love. The love you make is equal to the love you take. I Yeah. I mean, we have to remember what life is supposed to be about. Um, and the weird thing is, like I was thinking about it, and I wanted to mention it to you. That I feel like life, at least my life, is ruled by uh post hoc ergo propter hoc. It's Latin, if for after, therefore, because of this. It's a fallacy. It assumes that every event is caused by the preceding event. And because I'm so bad at planning things, every time something goes wrong in life, I think it's because of whatever I just did, instead of, no, 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 no. You did something wrong 3 months ago and it's snowballed. to this.
Mm.
So, for instance, in August, I fell, was almost killed or paralyzed,
Mm.
carrying my 150-pound 9-month-old puppy. And then I had a retinal detachment in October. 2 days into my recovery, the ceiling in my house collapsed from a water leak. And then the dog scratched my cornea in the other eye.
Oh, gee.
On top of the IRS going, hey, um, just so you know, your father didn't tell us that he sold a house and claim his pension or social security income. Can you can you just send us a check for $126,000?
Thank you very much.
And so all I can do is look to yesterday, going, what in the world did I do yesterday? Who did I piss off yesterday? And it's not. It's something that's been coming down the line, and it's my fallacy. Um, but life, like I said, you just gotta love the people around you.
Yeah.
People need to stop being so selfish. Um, a great man, Michael Lanning, told me and really instilled in me inclusivity. Love. uh, This may be the only thing that I take from religious scripture. Love thy neighbor.
Mm.
Everybody on this planet deserves to have a great life because you only go around once. And people really don't think of it that way. Like, there have been so many times in the past few years that I'm like, I have to do that. And it wasn't until last year that a friend of mine, Kate, was like, no, Kevin, you don't. It's your choice. And that's when I realized, and I changed my way of thinking. If something makes me unhappy, I'm not going to do it because life is too short to not be happy, not spend it with the people that you love, and not leave the world a better place than you found it in.
Yeah. So I think, that's a good place for this question. What would you like to leave in the world after you're gone?
My passion. If I had to leave anything, I mean, because I'm pretty selfish. I would want to take it all. You know, I've already told people, do not let them burn me. Gloss black casket, chrome handles, my signature on the top. You can have my passion. You can't have my eyes. They are gorgeous. Can't have my smile. Can't have my voice. No. You can have my passion because I have that in excess. Yeah, yeah. And besides, I've met more than a few people that need to be a little bit more passionate.
It's true. There's a deficit, isn't there?
Yeah. Is it passionate or impassionate?
All of the above.
Yeah, it's kind of like the whole uh uh, everybody loves using the buzzword of empathy nowadays, and yet it's the people that can tell you the difference between empathy and sympathy that are the real winners on that one.
Not a hard distinction.
No, no, it's not. It's not. Just we're in 20. Well, can we say we're in 2025?
Yeah. I mean, it's the difference between feeling sorry for someone or feeling like you're in the place where they are.
Absolutely, absolutely. And people need to know that they're not alone.
Right.
That's why those are both so important.
Yep, I agree. I agree. And I think empathy is the path to love. There's no question about it. When you can,
None.
yeah.
I would love to hear what you were going to say after that, though, because that was pretty profound.
I have no idea. I don't usually listen to myself when I'm speaking. Um, so I'll move on to the next question, the baker's question, right? If you've been to Manhattan, you've gone to a bakery down there, you buy a dozen of anything, what do you get? You get a 13th, right? So here's your 13th question, Kevin. What's the thing that most people misunderstand about you?
It's probably going back to the post hoc ergo propter hoc. Um, you know, I blame myself for so much, and I'm so hard on myself. And people don't realize it, or realize that I'm so over the top with the things I say, my views, um, because the bigger the personality, the more the contradictions. Um, that I'm intense, and when I love you, and I stop you, and I look in your eyes, whether you're a man or a woman, and I tell you that I love you,
Yeah.
there's a reason for it. It goes back to what I was saying about people not realizing that life is not infinite. People are well aware that, oh yeah, I'm not going to live forever. But as much as we all, every single one of us, how much we all loved Robin Williams, not enough of us realize suck the marrow out of life.
Yep.
You only get one chance. And that's why Kate's words to me rang so true. Because why would you want to spend 1 second doing something that made you unhappy? I I I don't understand that for the life of me. But I just wish people would take advantage of the life that they have. So there's so many wasted souls out there of people like myself, so much talent, and there's just not a perfect Cinderella shoe for everyone,
Right.
you know? I mean, look at the American Idol generation. You know, you're playing big fish, little pond in your little town. That's great. That kind of was a wake up call that, hey, guess what? There are like gorgeous women, dime a dozen. Talented men, dime a dozen. So, you know, if you're going to talk the talk, you need to be able to walk that walk.
Yep.
And you just need to be aware that there are people out there that are struggling, that are talented. They just can't get to where they want to be in life because of their place in life. And it all goes back to just be effing kind. Just be kind to people.
Awesome.
Unless they're a friend and they can't sing, then please tell them kindly to stop.
The cats and dogs are complaining.
Right, right. What? Uh,
So, Kevin, this is
but at the same time, if that makes them happy,
yeah.
then let them do it just in their own shower.
So we're getting close to a wrap here. Do you have any questions of me?
uh, do you have like a roast beef wrap?
Yeah.
Ooh, that would be good. Mm.
Got about
Yeah, I
60,
got.
60 pounds of prime rib in the freezer.
Ooh, that sounds good. Yeah, We're gonna flip the script here on you, brother. Favorite song of all time? It's a question I love asking people because it's so telling.
Probably Fire and Rain.
Wow.
Fire and Rain. It's got so much to offer. The singer writer is someone who's clearly not in control of anything in his life. All he knows is who he loves and how difficult it is to connect with that person. And when you hear people speaking about someone you love and the things they say puts an end to that person, and there's not a damn thing in the world you can do about it, except for look up and get out of the way of, you know, sweet dreams and flying machines and pieces on the ground. So it was one of those things when I really fell in love with the song. I was probably sophomore in high school. I learned how to play it on the guitar and a lot of other songs too. But it really spoke to me simply because the singing was just so eloquent, the guitar playing simple yet very melodic. You know, I didn't know it was called Travis picking at the time, but he was one of the best Travis pickers that I'd probably had ever, seen live. Um, and the thing that I didn't realize was that was completely living in a life of addiction. So, yes, Fire and Rain. If you got to put me on the spot for a best all time, Comfortably Numb is going to be a close second.
Yeah, yeah. And that's the difficult thing, isn't it? Any song off of Pink Floyd, because there are no gaps. I
Yeah.
mean but that's how any song off of Dark Side or The Wall became a single is amazing to me.
Yes.
You know,
Yep.
uh, you ready for your next?
Well, I really have enjoyed some Freddie Mercury. You know,
Oh, baby.
who wants to live forever,
Mm-hmm.
and you can hear the desperation in his voice, whether he knew it or not. He knew it. So, and there's probably been 10,000 songs that I've really loved for what they were. Everything from the Allman Brothers to Tower of Power, Eddie
Ooh,
Money.
good choice.
Yeah, Jay Giles, Lovin' Spoonful. It just goes on and on and on. But one of the things I've always enjoyed was having a diversity ear with regard to music. I can find almost something great about every song.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was growing up, my dad was a big Frankie Lane fan.
Frankie Lane?
Frankie Lane, yes. So Frankie Lane recorded the theme song to Rawhide.
Now,
Yeah,
okay. Yep.
okay. And also Barbra Streisand. When the Color Me Barbara album came out, my mother played that nonstop for months.
Right.
Every song on it, from Secondhand Rose, to People, to you name it. It was just really fantastic. So, is there anything by way of wrap up that you would like to do, beef or not?
That was good. That was good. Um, the most impactful song to you?
Most impactful?
Like, is it the song that reminds you of one of your folks, or reminds you of your childhood?
So there's two. One's The Impossible Dream, and the other one is
Man of La
Walk On.
Mancha?
Yeah, and Walk On.
Wow.
These are they're both anthems. They're both They're both being fearless and powerless in a world where it makes no difference. You're the only one who can stand up for yourself, and you need to do it.
Sword in the shield.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I have had a ball with you, my friend. I can't wait to hang out with you in RL, okay?
Likewise, sir. It's been my pleasure.
Yeah. Thank you for joining me, and I'm going to bid adieu to my faithful listeners out there. I'm also going to send you out with a little bit of homework, as I usually do. What I'd like you to do, and you can do this too, Kevin, is call somebody, text them, send them an email, a friend of yours that you really do care about. Let them know that you care about them and you love them and that your world works because they are in it. And if you'll do that, you're going to start your 2025 off and your friend's 2025 off on the right foot.
I couldn't have said it better myself.
Fantastic. We are Simple Questions for 100 People. We will keep asking the questions. God bless you all and Happy New Year.
Bill, I love you.
Love you too, bud.
You've been listening to Simple Questions for 100 People, part of the Xvadio Podcast Network. You can catch every episode of Simple Questions, plus the rest of the network, at xvadio.com, the Apple Podcasts app, YouTube, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Audible, Amazon Music, and wherever you find podcasts.